Welcome to One Team, One Mission, where CEO and President Hugh Davis shares inspiration, gratitude, and the heart of our work at Greencroft.
Hello, Greencroft team. Today, I want to take a moment to talk about the power of collaboration. At Greencroft, we know that great things happen when we work together, when we support one another and move forward with a shared purpose. One person who leads with that spirit is Angie, one of our certified nursing assistants and a mentor with Greencroft Communities. I recently sat down with her to talk about how collaboration shapes her approach to leadership and how it strengthens our mission here at Greencroft. Angie, welcome to our One Team, One Mission blog. So excited to have you on. I'd love for you just to tell us a little bit about you and your journey here to Oak Grove.
I came to Oak Grove. Oak Grove is a part of my God story, as a matter of fact. You guys were actually offering classes, and I was at a crossroads, and I was able to come here and take the classes and help people, and it's been absolutely amazing. It's been an amazing experience. I've met so many wonderful people. I've really made some wonderful connections with coworkers throughout the different departments. I can't say enough. This is my home. This is my home.
Yeah, I would love to, I know you've talked about sensing a calling, and you know, my own story is similar to that. And I believe many of us that work in long-term care and senior housing are called. But because you said this was part of your God story, can you talk a little bit about that, just your calling or how you see that as a calling?
Yeah, it is part of my God story. It just, I was at an absolute crossroads and I didn't know what to do. And so I prayed on it, and God led me here. I saw a sign at a grocery store on my way home. Honestly, it was such a fantastic thing. Like, it's so unbelievable to me and how it worked out. When I walked through these doors and was able to take the classes and work here, everything fell into place. And I can't really describe it except to say that it was my whole heart was like, yes, this is where you need to be. You are home. You need to do this. And that was everything to me, you know? And I've been here ever since, and I absolutely love and adore this place. This is my home. This is my family. I really enjoy what I do.
Awesome.
And I'm thankful to be here.
That is, it's awesome to feel that sense of purpose, that sense of calling. And, you know, truly, and specifically to all of our caregivers out there, you know, I really do believe in so many ways it's a calling. And, you know, I want all of our CNAs to know what impact they make in an organization like ours. And certainly every department makes a great impact.
I think letting other departments know how important they are to everything that we do here is so extremely important. Working with the other departments in a loving and a respectful manner is so important to me. And I try and go out of my way to make sure that they know that they can come to me if they need something, and they have gone out of their way to make sure that you know, that I can go to them with absolutely anything. So the team that we have here, it really is fantastic. You know, we are really an all on board group.
That's
you know.
awesome.
And when you go and you talk around with the people and stuff, you'll realize that everyone is here for a reason. And it's pretty cool. And you know, the other thing too that is pretty cool is the different experiences that we have with our residents has been pretty amazing, because the experiences and connections that I have with, you know, the people that I'm working with, and then when you go and you talk with, you know, environmental services or maintenance or, you know, dietary, they all have a different connection and a different story as well. So it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat.
It is. And, you know, one of our focus this month in the blog and my this video blog is the idea of collaboration. And, you know, I talk a lot about one team, one mission, because I really do believe, right, if we don't work well together, right, we never will serve the residents to our best capacity. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your role as a mentor and sort of how do you help build this environment of collaboration here at Oak Grove?
Okay, so the mentor program kicked off, like, I want to say November is when we really got the wheels rolling and stuff, you know, in Oak Grove. It's still fairly new. We're still working through some kinks, but at this moment, I get to like work with people and be their support. You know, I'm here for you. You know, what do you need? You just got to Oak Grove, you're a new hire, and I'm dedicated to you. Where do you want me? How can I help? How can I help support you and make the transition into our home and with our family more enjoyable and an easier road to go, you know, an easier journey. Coming into healthcare can be pretty intimidating sometimes because you have so many different personalities that you need to maneuver and work with. And, you know, you're talking with, you know, your residents and the family members and your coworkers and your supervisors and the different departments, and it's a lot. You know, so if you have a safe spot that you can go to, if you have that support system already established, like, hey, here I am, you know, let me go find Angie, let's see what's going on, you know, like, how do I get through this? So I don't know, I try and help however I can. I make mistakes, I don't have all the answers, but we could find them together, is basically.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to think about, right, for other people out there who may think about mentorship, right? And I love how you said, I don't have all the answers, I make mistakes.
Right.
Right, because the truth is, none of us have all the answers.
Right.
All of us make mistakes. But I think what I really like what you said, right, it is about support. It's about helping that person just have someone else they can go to and feel like they can get support and some guidance as they work through the day.
Exactly. You're not alone.
You're not alone.
You're not alone. And, you know, it can be, you know, sometimes you can have tough days, you know, and that's where I can like help you out and guide you back, you know, remember why you started moments, you know, and bring it back, you know, go for a walk, go feed the fish, get some fresh air, shake it off.
Yes.
And then, you know, get back to it.
Yeah.
And we got it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So in your world or your experience, what do you think is one of the most meaningful moments you've had as a mentor?
Well, actually, I had a young lady who decided to reduce her schedule, and then I think that she's going to kind of go into a different section of healthcare. But the connection that I had made with her was so strong that I still get to keep in touch with her all the time. She still comes to me and asks questions. I'm still her support person. And I just think that is so cool.
That is cool.
Because I get to, like, now I'm just building onto, like, my family. You know, like, she's going to be a part of my life now forever. So I don't know, I think that was pretty neat.
That is neat, and that's probably why you're a really good mentor.
I'm like, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
This way, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the things I think is so positive about your story and who you are as a person is, you know, we talk about leadership, and, you know, sometimes when I'm doing trainings, you know, I will say as the CEO, right, I'm one of the least impactful people in the organization, right? Leadership comes from all across the organization, right? And it comes in so many different forms and ways, right? And I think what you're demonstrating is truly impactful leadership.
I hope so. I try.
Yeah.
I try. You know, that's all I can do is try. I just want people to know that I am there for them. I am a helper, and I'm here to help. So where do you need me? You know, that's basically, that's how I live my life. Yeah. You know, that's where I'm at. You know, that's what I hope that I'm remembered as, being a helper.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything but that is exactly how you will be remembered as a helper.
I hope so.
So I want to come back a little bit back to this, you know, the theme of the blog this month, and it's really about understanding, you know, Greencroft being a faith-based, church-based Mennonite organization. You know, what does that mean, in a sense? And, you know, I've always been very careful to say, you know, even though we were founded by the Mennonite Church, right, Greencroft itself, right, is not necessarily meant to be, say, a church for our team, right? But I think so many of us bring a faith perspective into the work that we do. Maybe as sort of a last question, talk a little bit about how you intermix maybe this idea of your faith and what you do, and why has that been so important to you?
I have sat with residents and family members, and we've prayed our way through all kinds of, really great stuff, good times, bad times, It feels good to be here and be able to do that openly and comfortably. I can't say enough about it. As far as, my faith is strong, and it's been made stronger from being here. The amount of God winks I get here on a weekly basis is pretty fantastic. And I'm sure that you're aware that, like, in, healthcare, not just healthcare, but, we all have a story. We all have our reasons why. We all have things that we need to work through on a daily basis. And what is the one thing? It's like you lift yourself by lifting others.
Yes.
And I think that this place has healed me on such a profound level. You know what I mean? I've lived people, but it's helping me. I've gotten more from them than they've ever gotten from me.
Well, I think that goes back to the very central tenet of our faith, right? What we do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Absolutely.
Right, or even as Christ said, he who is first shall be last, but he who is last shall be first. Right, and I really think that message is as we serve others, right, we find joy.
Right.
And
how awesome is that?
Yeah.
And it's never ending. It's never ending.
Yeah, and I think, there's a verse in the Psalms, I think it's 104, where it talks about, there is joy for those who help others and always do what is right. And to me, if I were to frame what it means to work in a faith-based healthcare organization, right, that frames it.
It does.
And that sounds a lot like what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. And I just can't wait for everybody out there to hear your story. It's clear that when we work together with trust, respect, and a shared mission, we can accomplish incredible things. I'm reminded of Ecclesiastes 4:9. Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. That is the heart of teamwork, lifting each other up and building something greater together. Let's keep supporting one another, sharing ideas, and working as one team with one mission. I am proud of what we're building together, and I am grateful for each of you.